Hello and welcome to the Friday Lunchtime Live from Target Transfers. I am here in the Heat Printing Innovation Centre in Braintree in Essex, home of Styles and Hottronics in the UK. And today is our Q&A session. So I would like to answer absolutely every single question that you have about heat printing, garment decorating, screen transfers, direct-to-film transfers, full-colour transfers, anything you could possibly want to know about garment decorating. Please leave a question. We've been collecting them all week as well, so we've got a few things to answer, but I really want to hear from all of you. What would you like to know about heat printing? Because we want to help you, want to stop you from making mistakes. Is there anything you're doing at the moment you wish there was an easier way to do? Just let us know absolutely everything, and we'll get stuck into that today. So I'll start by just introducing ourselves a little bit for those that are new to the channel. My name is Andy. I look after the education here for Target Transfers and Styles UK. And we are in our Innovation Centre, which is our dedicated space in Essex for education and training to make sure garment decorators have absolutely everything they need to succeed and be successful. We are also part of the Styles Group, so we are the world's leading manufacturer of heat transfers, heat transfer vinyl, and heat presses you can see in this room. So everything you see here is direct from the manufacturer and is the best of the best that you could possibly get. So we like to think we know a thing or two about garment decorating, and we want to make sure that you have everything you could possibly want to know as well. So we are live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram today. So get the questions in wherever is best for you. I'm going to start off by doing a quick fuse for all of you. For anyone that's new, that's a bit afraid to ask a question, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a walkthrough about what is a heat transfer, what is a heat press. So that means that we can kind of get the ball rolling. So I'm going to start off today with just doing a really simple t-shirt fuse. I have a Bella Canvas one here. This is part of the heirloom range. I'm just going to fuse it for you so you can see how easy it is to do, then get those questions in. So if you've never fused anything before, it's really, really easy. Just get a t-shirt, you get a heat press, you thread a t-shirt onto a heat press. Then what you want to do is get a really accurate heat press here. So if you are thinking about getting a heat press, you're new from the beginning, or a next heat press, there's three things you need to remember. Can you control time, temperature, and pressure? If you can't control all three of those, should you really be buying that heat press? And this is across any single heat press available. You should always look for time, temperature, and pressure, because everything we do is designed to unlock a very specific time, temperature, and pressure. So this heat transfer here, which is a direct-to-film heat transfer, has a special powder and special ink which we formulated in-house, so this lasts longer, washes fantastic, and the color looks great. But we do it to unlock a very specific time and temperature, and this is true of any kind of heat printing or heat applied garment decorating. You have to be able to control everything. So we're very proud to have heat presses which have heating rods so frequently throughout that there is never a single cold spot in any of these heat presses. It's exactly the same temperature here, 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 here. And because we're Hottronics, we have something called over center pressure, which means when this press comes down, it's going to come down at very even central pressure. So first step, we need to pre-press that garment. If you've never done heat printing before, just as a reminder for everyone else, you have to press at medium if you're going to be doing heat transfers or heat transfer vinyl. That is what the recipe says, and you should always follow it. If you're under pressure, your transfer won't stay on. If you're over pressure, as silly as it sounds, your transfer also won't stay on because you're not applying the pressure correctly to where the transfer is. You're going too far into the fabric, you're going too far around it. It's not a good thing to do over pressure, and it should be easy. So then you can just put a heat transfer on here, and then you can pull it down. It should be really easy. I'm going to use two fingers here, and I'm going to do this for 12 seconds. You probably can't see, but it says 5 on here. Anything between 4 and a 6 on a pressure readout is medium pressure. So that's how you can tell you've got it at the right temperature. Then, because this is a hot peel transfer, I'm going to just peel it straight off. Take my transfer, my jersey off there. Then give you a little bit of a look at that. You can see you've got full color. really smooth print. It's going to stay on there the lifetime of this garment. That's how easy it is to print heat transfers onto t-shirts. So it took me 3 seconds pre-press, 12-second main press, and I've got a retail quality t-shirt. So this is really, really easy. So have we got any questions in yet?
Yeah, we've had our first question come in, Andy. Somebody has said that they don't have a Hotronix heat press, and their heat press does not have a pressure readout. What's the best way for them to gauge pressure?
Okay, so really, if your heat press does not have a pressure readout, you need to speak to the manufacturer. So, for instance, for ourselves, we have a press called the Hotronix Max Clamp, which is a fantastic heat press for beginners. And we always say you should be able to put it down with 2 fingers. So the Hotronix Max Clamp is the one you can see in the background here, but the principle is still the same. I should be able to pull this down with 2 fingers and clamp it down easily. If I can do that with 2 fingers, I'm sitting around medium pressure. If it's really too easy to do, and I could do it with 1 finger, or as soon as this comes down, it wants to go straight back up because there's no resistance, that's too low. If you are overpressuring and you need to use both hands and you can feel like you're really having to squash that in to stay into place, that means you are overpressuring. But not every heat press is as accurate as a Hotronix press. They don't all have the over-center pressure, which makes your life a lot easier. So if you are struggling to get the pressure right and you think something's not quite right here, do speak to the manufacturer or the company that sold it and say, how can I find medium pressure on here? Because everything that you do with a heat press has to have a specific pressure. Even if you're doing sublimation, it's higher pressure. If you're doing heat transfer vinyl, it's medium pressure always. And if they say you're telling you to low or high pressure, it means there's something wrong with that product.
Our next question that's come in, Andy, someone has said, how do you print polyester without scorching it?
Okay, how do you print polyester without scorching? It's very simple, and I think I've got one here. So just to show you, it's very, very easy with the right tools. We haven't got absolutely everything set up today, but there's a few steps. One is making sure you're using the correct temperature. So is your heat press correct to the correct temperature? That's always a good place to start with, because if you're using a cheaper import press, when it's not quite as accurate and you could be 10 degrees out, which could be below or above, then you're in trouble. A lot of polyester that's scorching is because the fabric reacts at a certain temperature, and it could be between 130 and 150 degrees depending on how it's been manufactured. So sometimes it's just as simple as going for a low fusing heat transfer. So for instance, ultracolor, which fuses at 120 degrees C. Because it's water-based, it can fuse a lot lower. And it's because of the special technology that we've built into the process of manufacturing. So it means it could be a lower fuse, it means you're using less power from your heat press as well, which is quite nice. But it's very simple. So if you're having trouble, and you can see here, this is an ultracolor supply blocker, and you can see here there's no marks around this at all. And this is a heavily dyed garment, which should by all means should probably have a press box around here, and the green should be either lightened or darkened depending on how it's trying to bleed. But what I would do to start off with, so if you're having trouble, make sure your press is accurate. Make sure you're using good quality transfers of vinyl. The lower fusing temperature, the better. The next stage would be using a cover sheet, just a simple piece of release paper. So for instance, to get started, just try using normal release paper first up, see if that works. That could be enough. We always say there's stages to go through when you're trying to figure out scorch marks and how to work with a particular fabric. If that doesn't work, stage 2 is to try what we call a grip flex pad. It's a Teflon style sheet. It's like a release paper, but it's a really heavy duty one. So what you would do in this instance is you would place this over the top of the whole of the polyester, because it can cover the whole of the platen. You would put the temperature up a little bit just to counteract the fact you've got another layer of material in the way. And most of the time, this solves the problem. It just adds a protective soft layer here, and that way you can get rid of it. the garment still be scorching after you tried release paper or a grip flex, then you would need to move to a solution which we call power platens. But basically at that point, you need lower heat. So you can get attachments for your heat press where you swap out the different platen on the bottom and you put a lower heated one. So what you do at this point is you put a power platen on and you set that to the temperature, which could be 120, 150, 160, it doesn't matter. And then you thread your garment over the top, and the fusing is done from the inside of the garment. And you just take the top down to say 110, 120 on the top, lighter pressure, and then you do all the fusing on the inside of the garment. And that will always eliminate scorch marks. And we do have a really great series of videos coming up over the next couple of months. We've done a big athleisure series where we will be showing you how to avoid scorch marks and how to fuse on every single type of lycra, polyester, spandex, all sorts of materials that you think are probably quite hard to do. We're going to make it really easy for everyone involved to get started with that.
We have got plenty of questions coming in now, Andy. So for anybody that's just joining us, Andy's taking a Q&A on all things heat printing. So please do leave your comments and questions in the comments. Gavin has asked, how long will the gang sheets last when stored? I ordered a few extra logos. Do you have any storage tips?
So Gavin, when your transfers come to you, they always come packaged. They're taped shut to make sure that nothing can happen to them in transit. What I would do is just keep them in that same packaging. When you take them out, you fuse them, anything that's left, put it back in, put a piece of tape over it, and just keep it in a cool, dry place, and you'll be absolutely fine. I've got a transfer here. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find the oldest one I've got. I'll fuse one for you. So this one, so everyone can see, it's a school badge. We created this probably a year and a half ago when we're doing our sample packs. So I'll fuse one on the back of this, just so you can see. Oops. But if you keep your transfers in the packet, in a cool, dry place, they're going to be fine every single time. So go 3-second pre-press on here. Place it on there. And you'll see that I placed it even at the back here because the pressure and the temperature is accurate. It's going to be no problem. Then I'll just peel it. This is a Ultracolor Max, admittedly, Gavin, so I'm not sure which ones you're using. Do let me know if it's Ultracolor or screen, but the difference is irrelevant, to be honest with you. It still fuses just as good as the first day we manufactured it. So cool, dry place. And honestly, we say 12 months, but we've got samples in this room from 2 years ago, and we've not had any problems with any of them. So as long as it's not left out in the direct sunlight above a glass ceiling, you'll be absolutely fine, and they'll just last and last for years to come. Okay, we have Decadence and Grandeur. How can I peel the Ultracolor Max transfers after I pressed onto a t-shirt or a bag? To be honest with you, it shouldn't make any difference what fabric you're putting onto. If it's a t-shirt, it's always hot peel. If it's a bag, it's hot peel. The only thing to bear in mind with bags is how much sort of grain and texture there is to them, but it should always still be a hot peel. The technology in the powder in the back of them is always designed, so I'll show you. This powder here, this ink is always designed to be hot peeled. So cold peel, you could obviously leave and leave and leave for days if you really wanted to. Hot peel should always be done straight away. So if it's Ultracolor Max, always peel it hot, no matter the fabric it's going on to. I also have a question from them. I am using Ultracolor Max's clothing tags at the back of the neck of the shirt. I use Hottronics, but my customers say that tags keep peeling off. What am I doing wrong? So perhaps if you could leave me a follow-up question, follow-up answer for this, and we'll figure out right now, is which Hottronics press are you using? Which platen are you using? So obviously if you're putting on a t-shirt onto a heat press, if you're doing neck labels sort of stage 1 way, would be to just turn it inside out. But sometimes you will find that when you turn it inside out now, you still, and because you're trying to get to the top, you've got these pesky seams in the way. So are you fusing it just straight onto the back like that with the seams out there? Are you using a different platen? And if you're using a different platen, do you have a pressure readout with that as well? So leave me some follow-up comments and we'll figure that one out as we're here today. Okay, using the Fusion IQ. And are you using a separate platen for your t-shirts? Or is it just going straight onto with the 40 by 50 centimeter platen? That'd be the main thing. The reason I ask is because I'll show you on this press. So if I was to put this onto here, you can see so the Fusion IQ comes with the 40 by 50, but with this t-shirt, this seam here, if you can see that from the sleeves, it's getting in the way of the pressure. Because the heat press is so accurate, it's going to regulate the pressure at the uppermost point. So it's going to notice these seams and they're going to affect the pressure. So if you were to fuse your neck label in here, you're not doing it at the correct placement point. So that's why if you're doing, depending on what type of item you're fusing onto, we recommend sometimes switching out the lower platen. So if I was to go and grab a 10 by 10, bear with me one moment. Actually, I've got one over here. So I've got an 18 centimeter one to hand. This could be a 10 by 10 or smaller. What you can do is okay, we've got a follow up. I'm not using a separate platen, so I think that could be the problem. So the reason I'd recommend a different platen or a smaller one is that when I put this under here now, you can see I'm only fusing onto the area that I want to. That seam that could be in the way if it's on a 40 by 50 centimeter is now off here. So it's not on the same area like it was before, which could be affecting how much pressure you're getting onto it. So give that a go. Try that for size and see how you get on. Let us know, because we'll make sure that we can get that sorted out for you and you can go on with doing neck labels, because it is a great way to brand your business. So I would say, firstly, it's always great to hear someone's actually putting neck labels on. If you're not putting neck labels on, you should be. There's two reasons why you should do it. Number one, you should offer it to your customers as an additional charge anyway, because it looks great, especially if they're a clothing brand. They can have their own neck label in there. It makes them look so much more premium. The cost to you to actually do the neck label is really small. You can even get a special platen, which can go on all of our 40 by 50% heat presses, which has a separate tag-along area. So you could do the neck label and the main print at the same time anyway. So it's a great way for your customer to brand them. You can upcharge them for doing that. And if they still say no, I would still brand it anyway, because it's like a business card. It's there for someone to find at a later date. And they're like, oh, I wonder who made this t-shirt. And they'll say, look in there, and they'll say Decadence and Grand. Just like, oh, I'm going to give them a call and see if they want to do my clothing as well.
So we've had a question come in on Instagram from Emmanuel, which I may need you to repeat because I don't think they can hear me.
Okay.
He has said, when you peel it off, how many seconds would you say when the item is hot? I try to peel it sometimes and it hasn't yet applied.
Okay. So the question from Instagram was, how long should you wait it? Would you wait? What is hot? What does hot feel like? What does cold peel feel like? So if you could follow up with a comment manual to let us know which transfer types you're using, what heat press you're using, because everything is hot peel, you should be able to peel it straight on the press. So I've got some more transfer, so I'll do one now. So I'm fusing this. I should just be able to pop it on here. I'll give it the pre-press as always. So make sure that you're pre-pressing. If you're not pre-pressing, that'd be the first place to start. Grab my transfers. And I'm even going to go really fine with the detail here. So give you a close-up of that before I do it. So you can see this is really, really small with the detail. So this is going to be a challenge. This is about as challenging, about as fine a detail as it gets. So pre-pressed. Now I give it a main press, and I'm going to peel it straight away. So with hot peel means hot. So that means peel it straight away, either peel it on the platen or take it off and peel it immediately. You shouldn't be waiting for like 20, 30 seconds. Hot peel is hot. There you go, see, pull that straight off, and it's on there perfectly. So there you go. So hot peel means straight away or within like 5-10 seconds ideally, because if you wait too long, so if you're a bit cautious with something that's hot peel and you wait till it go warm or even lukewarm, it's going to start, the actual paper, it's going to start to try and rejoin the powder and the ink. So if you wait too long, it will go back to its original form, if that makes sense. Whereas cold peel, and I've got one set up for cold fusing over here. So let me just pop this one on here. Still very easy for all of you. So we'll get the release paper here. So if you are doing cold peel transfers, you should always use release paper. So just need to get the pressure up on this one a bit. We're using some shoes on it the other day, so the pressure's a bit out. Bear me one moment. So to adjust the pressure, you just turn it quarter turns at a time until you find the right spot. So it's still a little bit low, it's still saying 0. Now we've gone up to 7, so a little bit overshot that one. There we go, 4, that's perfect now. Remember, we don't want over-pressuring, it's just as bad as under-pressuring. So we're going to set this up for a small pre-press, and then we're going to do 12 seconds again. So let me grab that. So hot peel on the press or straight away. So now I'm going to grab one of our ultracolor transfers, and this fuses at 120 degrees for 12 seconds again. This will be cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 on. So let me see if you can see that exactly the same. Very fine detailed. I'm going to let one go hot. I'm going to do one hot, one cold, and you can see why you should always follow the recipe. So we've already pre-pressed. Put them both on there. We'll use release paper. Use the release paper with cold peel ones and an auto-open heat press like this, because otherwise it might pull it up when the auto automatically opens. So the release paper is the only thing that gets pulled up at that point. So it stops that process from getting interrupted. So now if I take this one off, so if I try and hot peel this one, you can see I'm pulling it and I can pull the whole t-shirt around because it doesn't want to be peeled yet. It's still quite warm. It's just had 120 degrees go through with it. So I always say leave this to go cold, and it's going to probably take 30 seconds. If you are doing this in your print shop, then what I would do is just do all of your t-shirts at the same time and come back and peel them later. Where hot peel is hot peel straight away, cold peel is any time once it's cold. So you could wait 30 minutes, an hour, and it's not going to have any negative impact on your printing.
So we've had a question in from Demetrios on YouTube. I'm creating my own designs. The question is, how many colors must I have and what kind of file?
Okay, this is really easy, Demetrios. So the answer is whatever you want. So when it comes to heat transfers, when you're dealing with styles and target transfers, so we let you do anything. So we don't want to put you into a box of and kind of like try and cramp your creativity. That's why we brought out Ultracolor, which is the product just fused then, because you get unlimited colors, unlimited tones and gradients, no limits in terms of the detail. So you can see, let me just refresh you on that one. Super fine detail. Your artwork is your artwork. So we will make your artwork come to life. So don't try and put any confines on it. All you need to do, so if you're saving it as an EPS or a PDF, just make sure you tick to keep the gradients and tones with it. If you're unsure what that means, just send us an email. But we will, for ultra color, if you've got lots of colors, it can be PDF, EPS, PNG, and JPEG. So no matter what format you prefer to save your work in, we can make it happen. It's not a problem. And if it's just 1 or 2 colors, like especially if it's just 1 color, we have a 1 to 5 color Pantone matched product as well. So you can specify what ink color you want it to be, and we can do that just as easy for you. I've got one here. You can even get metallics and silvers done in that one as well. So no matter what your artwork is, we've got you covered. And we've just popped a video in the chat as well for you. So if you're a bit unsure and you just want to read a little bit more about them, there's a link in there as well. So this is the transfer I just fused. So I said I let it go cold, and to be honest with you, it's like 80% cold now. It's probably been about 45 seconds. So I'll try peeling it. I think it's going to want a little bit longer, so I'll only do one of them. And the most important thing as well when you're peeling transfers is one smooth motion. So I'll try and let you see. I normally put it down on a table for best practice, but obviously you can't see that. But you can see I just peel it straight off, just like that. You've got perfectly fused, even with fine detail, really easy. So I'll do the other one. Just grab a corner, try and get a bit closer, straight off, just like that. That's all it takes to fuse a heat transfer. And you can see even the tiniest little detail of the registered trademark. You probably can't even see that on camera. At the bottom there, the apostrophe on Styles. Get real close up. No problems. So as long as you follow the recipe, hot is always hot, cold is always cold, and then it's fine every single time that way.
Brilliant. We've had another question come in, Andy.
Okay.
What's the best way to get a metallic finish on a t-shirt?
Okay. So I would, if it's just say 1 color and just going for like gold or silver, rose gold, something like that, then I would go with what we call 1 to 5 color heat transfers, which is a very traditional screen printed heat transfer. And we can just make it gold and metallic. As long as the color is quite dark, we can make pretty much any color metallic with our 1 to 5 color range. So that is the easiest way to do it. And you can get some fantastic results, and you can apply this on any type of fabric. Alternatively, if you have the design skills like perhaps Dimitrios does, is you can create a gold look effect if you can work with tones and gradients within Photoshop, for instance. Potentially you can make something look gold if your artwork is up to it as well. So if you're looking to have multicolor stuff and maybe there's a mirror effect onto it, you can just do that, and we can make that print come to life because we can print any color with any vibrancy. We've got the most vibrant heat transfers there are anywhere, as I showed you with some of these prints. It's really, really easy to do. Just the artwork. If you can create the artwork, we can create transfer for it. Okay, I've got another question over here. Do you offer embroidery patches? And if so, is there a color limit? Is it possible to have them arranged as a gang sheet? So I actually have one here, rather handily. So this is one of our embroidered patches. We fuse this onto a hat. We actually put a bit of hybrid on there as well. So yes, we do have embroidered patches. So for instance, but there is a high minimum. So Ultra Color Max, which is our direct film heat transfer. So anyone that's never used this before, Ultra Color Max, there's a minimum of just 1 on this product. Ultra Color, which is our hero product, which is the most scalable full color heat transfer there is anywhere, which is the one I fused at the lower temperature point. That has a minimum of 10, so it's still only 10, but you can get a really great price point the more you order. So do go and have a look on custom.targettransfers.com, play around with quantities just to see how easy it is to get. And as Gavin mentioned earlier with regards to his gang sheets, we don't charge you anything extra for gang sheets. However, embroidered patches, because the process of creating these is slightly different. So in terms of the number of colors, not really. You can put lots of color into embroidery, probably like, I would guess probably like 7 or 8, something like that. You obviously can't do tones and gradients with embroidery, but we do have woven, we have rubber, and we have embossed patches as well. And there's a mixture of either 100 or 200 minimum on those, and they take a couple of weeks only. But obviously, then you can get the patches together. But we can't buy them as a gang sheet, I'm afraid. They do come individually cut because that is the most effective way to actually manufacture them. And they are available from badges.targettransfers.com. Really, really easy. Again, just upload EPS or PDF file with your artwork, and we can make anything come to life that way. And if you're interested in applying patches to hats like the one I've just done here, for those that missed attending Headwear Live 2 weeks ago, which was a big event we did here in the Innovation Centre in conjunction with Beachfield Brands, UK and Europe's largest supplier of hats and bags. All of the content for that is starting to go up onto our YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn pages now. So if you want to see my talk that I did together with Ashford from Beachfield about the UK hat market, possibilities, because it's really, really great time to be in the hat market. This very expensive looking hat here costs about £4 to put together, and you could sell us between 15 and £40. So really great time. So my talk is up. We released a podcast with Ashford and Chris from Beachfield yesterday. So that is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Go listen to that. And we've also done loads of little videos as well. So if you want to know more about hat market, embroidered patches, getting into some slightly different finishes with some more dimensional effects, it's a really great time to do it. And there's lots of information available on our YouTube page to get stuck into that. Oh, perfect. Beth has very kindly put a link in the description, in the comments, for you to see some of that content as well. So it's a really great event, and I would encourage absolutely everyone that's watching to try doing headwear as an option. Put it in front of your customers, because the feedback that we got from the event and the results we're starting to see from the event already are really quite staggering, because it's really quite simple to get involved in the hat market. And also, actually, I should mention the bags and accessories. Really, really easy to decorate. And this is a matte PU wash bag, which should be really difficult to decorate. And we're able to put even our high build vinyl onto it. So the possibilities for extra revenue streams to offer to your customers are really quite staggering. With the UK market and UK and Europe market expected to grow 18% year on year for the next 7 years, it's a great chance to get involved.
I've got a great question here, Andy, and this is one of my personal pet peeves because it's so simple to fix. How do you stop the collar imprint in the back of the t-shirt? Okay, this is a good question. So how do you stop the collar imprint of the back of the t-shirt? So let me try and get a fresh t-shirt. So I've got this one from Orders here. So, and this is something that we've discussed a bit internally, and a mistake that we're seeing quite a lot is people are not threading their heat presses. So one of the great things about having a Hotronix press, if you can put a caddy or a counter caddy, or let me get the name right, Decadence and Grandeur, where they've got the Fusion IQ and they can thread it on the bottom of it, that's the way you should be loading your heat press up. So the correct way to do it is to get one layer of your t-shirt and just thread. This way, your collar stays off the end and you're not going to get any imprint on the back. What we're seeing a lot of people do, and this is not something that we advise, so don't do it, is just placing the t-shirt on here and then pre-pressing and fusing. But what this means is this lovely collar here is going to make a horrible mark in the back. So you're going to find you get a bit of a semicircle here because you're not doing it correctly. So I'll do it and I'll see if it'll show up for you or not. So what's happening is doing a press on here. Yeah, you can. Let me know if you can see that or not. Already, just a quick press, you'll start to see a bit of a semicircle come into the back of the shirt. And this is not something you need to be doing. It's very easy to avoid. All you need to do is thread it on here. If you're sending something out to a customer with a mark on it, they might just not come back to you. You might lose that business and they'll be like, it's not very professional. They left a horrible mark there.
and it's completely affordable. So load your heat presses correctly, thread the shirts on, because not only does it look better, it's actually much more efficient because it's much easier to just glide that on, especially if you've got a quick slip protector as well. Just makes your life so much easier. So stop fusing your t-shirts by putting them on like that. It's not the best practice and it doesn't look as good. Okay, have we got any more questions?
That seems to be everything on Instagram for now.
Okay, well, in that case, I will wrap up here. If no one's got any more questions, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining me today. It's always great to have your questions, to hear what you're up to. Don't forget to tag us with what you're up to. We love to see what you're working on. We love to help amplify your business if we can do. And we have lots of fantastic content, like I say, from Headwear Live and some of the other events we've been doing. And we have a very full live event schedule for the next 3 months that we just locked down the other day. So we have some fantastic things coming up for you. And if there's anything you'd like to see, any events that you wish we did, do leave a comment, send us a message and say, have you thought about doing this? Because we would love to help you on your journey and make sure that you're achieving as much as you possibly could. So if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, join us again, get those notifications on, and likewise for Facebook, Instagram. It's very much appreciated you joining me today, and I wish you all a fantastic weekend.